Hey, everybody. Good morning on a very, very, very stormy morning here in New York City. It is 8:05 a.m. We're a little late today here
Yeah,
in New
that's not
York.
my bad.
No worries. Here in New York City, it is 5:05 a.m. in Los Angeles, where the Dodgers are facing elimination because they got whooped by the Blue Jays yesterday, 6-1
Again.
again. And now they're headed to Toronto and a potential elimination. So we may have a Canadian World Series championship,
That'd be
which
cool.
is pretty fine with me.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, they are all imploding before our eyes. In a stunning twist, Marjorie Taylor Greene, yes, that Marjorie Taylor Greene, publicly ripped into her own party's shutdown strategy, blowing the lid off Donald Trump GOP healthcare gambit. Greene accused House Speaker Mike Johnson of offering no plan whatsoever for the millions of Americans about to lose their health insurance subsidy. She said, and I quote, he, meaning Johnson, refused to give one policy proposal to our GOP conference on our own conference call. Now, this moment isn't just about one Republican member lashing out. It destroys the GOP's shutdown narrative, reflaming the blame squarely back onto Republican hands where it belongs. So there you have it. The chaos, the collapse, and one of Trump's fiercest loyalists flashing a big red warning flag. The MAGA machine might want to worry. Michelle, some good news for this morning. When you get absolute power, you start to get people who start fighting amongst themselves, and that's how things collapse from the inside. And the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene has been stepping out on the Republicans for, a while now, I think is actually very interesting. Now, of course, it's self-serving for her. She wanted to run for governor. I believe it's governor, maybe Senate in Georgia.
Like yeah, statewide.
No, because she's a wackadoodle by the White House. And I think this is a combination of revenge. Plus, I think she understands she has to move a little bit to the center if she does want to win a statewide election.
I mean, she's getting good advice.
She is getting good advice. But what I think is fascinating is that you have just a lot of things happening under the radar, right? You have Mike Johnson stepping out every day, carrying Trump's water in ways that are just like disgusting. Both you and I have a theory. I have a Substack coming out on it today, actually, that they don't want the government reopened. Trump never wants the government reopened because he wants to rule by fiat and be a dictator, which is what he is. But on the margins, you have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene stepping out on this and basically saying, hey, you guys have been railing about Obamacare since it passed 20 years ago. And yet, where's the Republican solution? Never has there been a Republican solution to it.
No.
And then you have the Senate yesterday voting down additional tariffs on Canada, and I believe on Brazil, which is also a rebuke of Trump. And that was a few Republican senators joining with the usual cast of characters, plus Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul joining with Democrats to vote this down. So what's going on? What do you think?
I mean, listen, I think that there's a few things going on. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene, to your point, right, wants to run statewide in Georgia, whether that's senator or governor. She's going to have to sound less crazy in order to get more votes towards the middle. So there's that. But then I think there's other Republicans who are looking at how crazy this is getting. And I think that they're, publicly, we all know this, Republicans, a lot of the Republicans say one thing and then they go behind closed doors and they say something else.
Yep.
And I think that they're seeing the writing on the wall. They're seeing the polls. They're seeing Donald Trump is not well, that he might not make it through this term. And they're like, if I continue down this path with him, and MAGA, like, we don't know what's going to happen to MAGA after Donald Trump is not at the forefront or not at the head of this. We don't know what's going to happen. And so I think people are starting to get a little freaked out and be like, I didn't actually think he's going to be full dictator. And I mean, he is. And I wonder, like, if some of this is just too far. And I think that they're breaking precedent over and over and over again in horrible, horrible ways. I mean, taking SNAP benefits away from people during a shutdown has never happened. We watched the clip yesterday. People in Colorado, their healthcare premiums are going to go up 100%.
It's almost like, so I don't want to get too overboard here, but in the
Mhm.
1930s, Joseph Stalin imposed famine,
Mm,
commanded famine on Ukraine. It was called the Holodomor, and if you ask Ukrainians today,
mhm.
they still, most of them are not around anymore, but it's like seeped into their national consciousness. And if you want to ask them why they're fighting the Russians so hard, I bet you that they would invoke
Right.
that, right?
Yep.
You had the Irish famine that the British created back
Mhm.
in the
Yep.
19th century that
Yep.
led to so many Irish people coming to this country because of the potato famine, but that was man-made. And you think about
Correct.
that, and that was to punish and starve a civilian population.
Mhm.
Donald Trump's not imposing a famine, but what he is doing is he's making it very hard for farmers to produce food through these stupid tariffs, which we'll get to in a
Yeah.
moment with Xi Jinping, that, he's basically begging Xi Jinping to buy soybeans again. The Chinese, he said they're going to do it. The Chinese haven't said a word.
Yeah, they're not going to.
They're
That's
not going to, because they've already, first of all, they've already bought them, right? Like,
yeah.
congratulations, Argentina. Not only are you getting $40 billion of our money, but you're also getting the soybeans that should have been sold from this country being sold from Argentina to
Mhm.
China. So that's one. Two, which I think is actually very critical, is that he's also effectively imposing starvation upon the people, because they have a rainy day fund. They're just choosing not to use it.
That's right.
In
Mhm.
the wealthiest country the world has ever known, we are now relying, a lot of people, on the kindness of strangers to feed
Mhm.
them. And
Mhm.
people, there's not enough food. I mean, food banks are not going to have enough food. Like,
No. They and like they just can't.
they can't.
And it doesn't exist. And we said this yesterday as well. It's just there's no way that we the people are going to be able to make up for this. I mean, I was talking to Joe last night, my husband, and I was like, there's something I really want to do, like especially for Thanksgiving. Like, I feel very fortunate that we have what we have. I want
Yeah.
to make sure, like, let's do something like buy turkeys for people, like whatever it is. And I'm like, I want to do it, but like we shouldn't have to. Like this is crazy.
Well,
This is
also,
crazy.
how many turkeys can you buy, right?
Well,
Like, I'm
that's
not
the other thing. It's like I mean, it's everybody.
we're not rolling in it. Nobody here is, like,
No,
wealthy. So the point
no,
is,
but
like,
like,
let's say you could, I don't even know what a turkey costs these days, but let's
yeah.
say you can buy 20 turkeys. And that's great. You're
Oh
gonna feed
yeah. I mean, I don't know
that,
about that, but
I
like,
don't know about that either. But let's say
yeah.
you really decide to spend some real money, you're gonna buy 20 turkeys to feed
Right,
20.
right.
What happens the day after Thanksgiving, after they're
That's
done with
right.
those leftovers?
Exactly.
Like,
That's not
and these are not, we're, like, getting to, like, police who are gonna have some more Oliver type situations here. Like,
mhm,
what are we gonna have next?
right.
And these are federal workers who have not gotten paid.
That's the other part of this that I'm
Yeah,
just the air traffic controllers have been working
yeah.
this whole time without
Well,
being
a
paid.
lot of them are calling, if you look at lines around airports, a lot of them have been calling out, not
Good.
not
They
because
should
they're
have.
trying to be not because they're trying to be awful, but because they're getting second jobs that are actually paying them.
Mhm.
These are highly skilled, highly trained people that have to work a second job to support their family,
Yeah.
because these assholes do not want to extend Obamacare subsidies. And if you talk, I mean, John Thune went on the Senate floor yesterday, and apparently,
I have the clip.
well, why don't we play it?
Let's watch it.
And we need Democrats to reopen the government so that work can start. Republicans are brimming over with healthcare ideas.
Brimming
Brimming
over
over.
with healthcare
Where have you heard
ideas.
this, Michelle? Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 17,000 times. What healthcare ideas?
Yep.
I'd love to know what they are. And if they exist, tell us, do it, pass the bill, and let's go. But the
And
problem here is
yeah.
that nobody believes them. And I will tell you what the issue here is. They passed the CR last time. They passed a continuing resolution last time.
Mhm.
And Donald Trump, and this is I don't know why Democrats started talking about this, but they should. Donald Trump used rescissions, which is that he decided unilaterally, and Congress allowed him to do this, the Republicans allowed him to do this, to just cancel that CR. Like, he just said, you know what, Michelle, I don't want you getting money. So the money that's been appropriated to you, we're using rescissions to claw that money back, and we're giving it to Julie. If you're a Democrat, why would you believe these people?
Yeah.
Why
Well,
would you
it's Lucy in the football over and over and over
over and
again.
over, over and over?
And this was just so people I'm gonna play this clip here. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think this is what, 2 weeks ago? Maybe more, 2 or 3 weeks ago, blaming the Republicans for the shutdown.
The Democrats are accusing Speaker Johnson of delaying the swearing in of Arizona's Democratic Congresswoman-elect because she would give the last vote needed to release those Epstein files. I'm wondering, the Speaker, for his part, he has denied that. He said it's because of the shutdown. Have you spoken to him? Do you think she should be sworn in right away?
Well, I'll say it like this. I can't conclusively say if that's why the House is not in session, but the House should be in session. And the House should be in session for many reasons. We have appropriation bills that need to get passed. There is a new Democrat that's been elected that does deserve to be sworn in. Her district elected her. We have other bills that we need to be passing. And if it's to avoid the discharge petition, why drag this out? That is going to have 218 signatures. And so I say go ahead and do it and get it over. Hearing from my constituents, it's great. We track all the calls that come into my office. About 60% of the calls coming in right now are calls of support and saying, yes, health insurance is a crisis. They're telling us stories about how they're already paying $2,000 a month with $10,000 deductibles. I'm getting phone calls from people that are saying if the ACA tax credits expire, they aren't going to be able to have health insurance. They're going to have to drop it. But I'm hearing from people on both sides, people already on the ACA and people that are already getting crushed by high health insurance premiums.
I mean, first of all, the fact that she's now going on CNN is a hilarious ploy to me.
I know. But this was on day 8 of the shutdown. We're on what, day 30, 29?
At this point, further than that. I mean, we're 5 weeks in. Yeah. I mean, look, they shut down October 1st. So
right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So day 30, I guess 29. He being Mike Johnson is abdicating. Like he has got to be the worst. If you look at this
weakest speaker in history,
actually the worst speaker in history, and I include Dennis Hastert, who P.S. molested children. So that's how strongly I feel about Mike Johnson. Because you are given constitutionally authority to be a co-equal branch of government, and you are voluntarily shutting down that branch of government to create a unitary executive.
Yep.
Without a check.
He's rendered the House completely powerless, completely useless. He said this, I meant to play this yesterday and then I didn't, but he was complaining about how tired he is because he's working so hard.
Washington, the work has gone on in earnest as well. People keep commenting to me, you look so tired on TV. I am so tired because we're not sleeping a lot. We're working overtime. Here in Washington, our House committees have continued to conference together and do all the work we can to ensure legislation is ready for the floor for action as soon as we get back to legislative session.
People say I look so tired. I am so tired.
Oh, please. You know what? You try writing a fucking Substack every day.
I know.
You know what? Sorry. Okay. Sorry, Dad. I will say this. He's not tired. He's not working. You know why? Because Hakeem Jeffries went on CNN yesterday and had an interview with Caitlin Collins. I don't know if anybody caught it, but it was on in the middle of the World Series. We were kind of flipping back and forth. He was on for a very long time. He said that he and Johnson did speak. Johnson did initiate a call to him and asked him, is this about the shutdown and ending it? He goes, well, I mean, holistically, you could say so. Basically, he was implying that it was a bullshit call that was like a check the box call. Working would be, and then he basically said, we need some rank and file Democrats to come over to our side because Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are hopeless. They're irredeemable. They're worthless. And they only listen to their overlord, Zohran Mamdani, which I guess is going to be the new talking point if Mamdani wins, which is hilarious.
Which I'm like, okay.
Yes, like Jeffries, it took Jeffries like 20,000 years to endorse Mamdani, and Schumer still hasn't and will not.
Yeah, and he's not going to. And I'm telling you, Jeffries, when he did, was like, didn't want to.
Yeah, so they don't give a rat's ass about Zohran Mamdani. To be very clear, the mayor of New York, as an administrator, like never in the history of New York State, I don't even need to qualify this, but let me just be clear for people who are not from this country. The mayor of New York City has never had any influence whatsoever on anything other than the city of New York. And even there, he doesn't have too much power.
Even as the assembly member. Anyways, whatever.
Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. So the point is that when you say that my counterparts, I'm not even going to bother because they're totally useless and worthless, and I'm not going to negotiate with them, like, you're not negotiating.
Yeah.
You're not negotiating, which effectively means that you don't care. Like, I don't know what he's doing. He's holding a lot of press conferences. He's on
Oh
the
yeah,
phone.
he loves. It's like, again, it's all happening on TV. And
Yeah.
just so people know, like Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted this. So Jake Sherman had tweeted out on the House Republican conference call. Marjorie Taylor Greene just said that she's tired of people listening to the White House political staff. She said that John Thune needs to use the nuclear option and reopen the government. In other words, abolish the filibuster and pass a funding bill. So she responded to Jake Sherman, said, "You left out that I said I have no respect for the House not being in session, passing our bills and the president's executive orders. And I demanded to know from Speaker Johnson what the Republican plan for health care is to build the off-ramp of Obamacare and the ACA tax credits to make health insurance affordable for Americans." Johnson said he's got ideas and pages of policy ideas, and committees of jurisdiction are working on it, but he refused to give one policy proposal to our GOP conference on our own conference call. Apparently, I have to go into a skiff to find out the Republican healthcare plan. Because there isn't one. There never has been. I mean, during Trump's first term, right? It was like, oh, repeal. The Pod Save guys were making T-shirts that I still have mine. It says repeal and go F yourself, GOP, because that's what it still is. Repeal and go F yourself. These people do not give a shit about any of us. And they never will. They never will. At least, a Marjorie Taylor Greene, again, self-serving, whatever, but at least she's trying. At least she's telling the truth. I mean, like, she's wackadoo, but, I don't know, Julie.
She is wackadoo, but she's doing something that nobody else in her conference is doing.
Exactly. She's telling the truth, and she's fighting for people, at least giving the appearance of doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll play this one last thing before we go.
Okay.
Just on the point of how this isn't going to end anytime soon. Just the soybean situation with China. Fox News reported this.
President
Oops.
wants to see China do more to help American farmers purchase American soybeans. Last year, China purchased $13 billion worth of American soybeans. This year, zero, guys.
There is no end in sight. No
There's
end
no
in sight.
And Trump came back saying they agreed to buy soybeans. Come on.
Yeah, he's full of shit. He's always full of shit, and that's not news. That's just business as usual. So, we'll keep people updated on this. But for now, moving on.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
Well, Donald Trump has finally gotten the crown he's always seemed to think he deserved because he's a pretty princess. And this time, it's not a metaphor, unfortunately. During the ceremony in South Korea, I think it was yesterday, in the city of, I don't know how to say it. I apologize. What is it?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either. And I apologize. And I'm not going to try because I'm going to murder it. So
Guanju, and we probably totally murdered it.
Yeah. Well, Trump was presented with a gold replica crown, once worn by an ancient Silla-era ruler, along with the country's highest honor, the Grand Order of Muganghwa. Apologies to anyone who speaks Korean who heard me say that. The ornate headpiece, glittering with jade and gold, was described as symbolizing the divine connection between the authority of the heavens and sovereignty on earth. It's a perfect fit for someone like Donald Trump. So South Korean President Lee Jae-myung handed over the gleaming relic as Trump gazed through its glass case, reportedly telling aides, quote, "I'd like to wear it right now." That's quite the visual for a man already accused by critics back home of ruling like royalty, complete with last week's No Kings protests across U.S. cities. I mean, the reason that we say no kings is because he doesn't just act like one. He has projected his wish and dream of being one with fake time covers and AI videos of him crowning himself. So to recap, while Americans marched against monarchy, 2 weeks ago? I forget. I have no sense of time anymore. South Korea literally has crowned him. You cannot make this up. And if I have to hear or read one more right-wing podcast person being like, oh, the South Koreans are trolling the libs because of the thing, I'm like, that is not what this is.
Oh, no, they're not trolling the libs.
They're trolling him without him really knowing about it.
Well, what they want is, I mean, listen, it was a gold crown. They had lunch, and we talked about this yesterday. They had lunch, and yeah, there's the crown. I mean, give me a break. That is so up Trump's alley. It's disgusting. Then they had brownies that they embossed with gold plate or some gold leaf.
Yeah.
Gold. I don't know.
Yeah.
Put gold
like
on
edible
brownies.
gold or whatever.
Yeah, edible gold. And they're doing this because he's imposing crazy tariffs on them. And he doesn't, they obviously they know how to get to near and dear to his heart, which is to kiss his ass. Yeah. So they're not trolling him. They're basically doing to him what you would do to a little kid throwing a temper tantrum.
Yes. Like, do you want a cookie?
Yeah, you want a cookie. They're giving him the biggest cookie in the world. He got his cookie. And because he got his cookie, I guarantee that he's going to come back and say, no more tariffs on South Korea. Now, the question is, what happens to that crown should Donald Trump ever depart the White House, which, again, is never going to happen while he's alive. But is he taking that with him? That belongs to the United States. And hopefully will be returned to South Korea by the next president.
Well, one would hope. So here's just a little video of their exchange. Oops.
The gold crown symbolizes the divine connection between the authority of the heavens and sovereignty on earth, as well as the strong leadership and authority of a leader.
경주를 국비대로 차리신 우리 트럼프 대통령님께 한반도에 처음으로 평화를 가져온 신라의 정신과 함께 한미 동맹의 푸른 길을 상징하는 이 금관을 선물로 준비하였습니다.
We present this gold crown to you on this joyous occasion of your state visit to Gyeongju, because it symbolizes the spirit of Silla, which brought peace to the Korean peninsula for the first time, and the opening of the golden age of the Korea-US alliance.
First of all, can you just imagine how bad he smells? So there's that. And then second of all, I mean, pretty princess. And he always stands there like this chump. And he's just he can't sit still. He can't look normal. I don't know what his arms are ever doing. His hands.
They're always like very flat. They're always like this.
Like dead weight, like dead fish hanging from his body. And just the whole thing is so weird, especially since he has this like strange, inappropriate relationship with Kim Jong-un.
Oh yeah.
He said, I forgot to pull this clip, but reporter said, "Sir, what's your reaction to North Korea?" And this obviously, regional. North Korea test launching a missile this morning. Trump, I don't know. He's been launching missiles for decades, right? We had a very good relationship. I mean, more than a relationship. What? He said this.
Paging Jake Tapper.
Well, right. And also strange.
Can I, before we go, just give a little annoying history lesson again? So
Please.
This whole divine right of kings thing, that's absolute monarchy, right? That's what the British got rid of at the Charter of Runnymede, which led to the Magna Carta, 1215. This is how annoying I am. I know these dates.
I'm glad somebody here knows, because
this is what the French got rid of on July 14th, 1789. I mean, I say this to say that this guy thinks this is the divine right of kings, right? God speaks to the king, and the king has absolute power because he's speaking for God. And that is what they just said to him. And that is something that went way out of vogue around the end of the 18th century, excuse me. And the fact that anybody still believes that God speaks to the ruler and to the sovereign, which is what they said, and the sovereign speaks for God, which is exactly what they're telling Donald Trump. Like, they don't give a shit about our democracy here. They just want their tariffs to be gone, and they want him not to screw around with Kim Jong-un too much. So, but for the rest of us, like, I can only imagine if somebody said this to Barack Obama when I was working at Fox News, there would be wall to wall. I mean, this would be the only topic of discussion from the moment that Fox and Friends first came on air at 5 a.m. to the minute they went off the air at midnight. Like, this would be the only thing in discussion, that somebody said that he had a divine right to rule, and he just stood there nodding along. Like, where are the Democrats to push that message?
Don't know.
Yeah.
It's I'm the whole it's just, the fact that this is even we continue to have this conversation every single day because he does more and more crazy shit like this. And the fact that the rest of the world, and this is, I mean, we know this, but the rest of the world's leaders have figured this out in a way that apparently no one else here has. Donald Trump is unwell. Donald Trump is, Julie, it's depressing. It's depressing. Like yesterday we were laughing at him walking around, like losing his way and whatever, which is funny objectively. But then it's like, you see this and I'm like, ugh, you know, it's depressing.
Yeah. No bueno.
I know,
Although I will say that when he was on stage with him, we can go after this. When he was on stage with Xi Jinping, apparently same thing happened. He went to the left. The aides were like, no, sir, go to the right. He was wandering off stage, and he was basically told, and he followed Xi Jinping. Who am I talking about? Xi Jinping.
I don't know. It's Thursday.
Yeah. So,
well, you know what? Actually, before we go, let me just show that. Let me show this.
Okay.
Mr. President, the President of the People's Republic of China.
Good to meet you.
Great pleasure to see you again.
Good to see you again.
很高兴再次跟大黑妹。Me too.
And we're going to have a very successful meeting, I have no doubt. But he's a very tough negotiator. That's not good. We know each other well.
Mr. President, do you plan to sign a trade deal today?
Could be. I think we'll have a great understanding. We have a great relationship. We've always had a great relationship.
Will you start buying from us soybeans again? Will you discuss Taiwan with her?
Which way?
Yeah, Xi's not playing. He wants nothing to do with this.
Let me just say this. Look at Xi Jinping's face.
I know.
He is not saying a word. He is a total lockbox. Trump is talking. Trump is so thirsty for a deal because he understands this is screwing this country up. And Xi Jinping knows he's got the upper hand because he is a dictator, so he's got all the time in the world to impose all the pain and that he wants. And the difference here is that Xi's not saying a word, one word. Trump is almost begging him for a deal. And they did come up with some sort of deal, a 1-year truce to lower tariffs from some exorbitant amount to some lesser exorbitant amount. They're still incredibly high. I think they're still like 45%.
Right.
He's not agreed to buy soybeans, no matter what Trump says. He agreed in concept to stop the flow of fentanyl into this country. I don't know what that means, other than I'm sure she was like, oh, okay, I'll stop it. Like,
I'll stop it. Like,
yeah, he's still buying soybeans from Argentina, from Brazil, excuse me. No, Argentina, I'm sorry, both actually. Our farmers still are not planting these row crops for next year, or they don't know what to plant.
Right.
And that was an embarrassing display. It just was.
God, horrifying
display. So
first of all, he's like kind of leaning away a little bit with his hand just like locked in because Donald Trump's not letting go, which is like another one of his tells. And so she's just like leaning away because A, I'm sure he wants to not be near him, and 2, I bet you he smells.
And it's not, listen, here's the deal. They've all done psychological profiles on Trump. They all know.
The Chinese know.
They all know all about him, right? It's not that hard. I mean, just watch him,
Right.
And this is like an old trick. if you're being interviewed by, I say this to all of my clients whenever they get interviewed by reporters,
Mm-hmm.
a reporter asks you a question. A good reporter will ask you a question, you'll answer it, and then they'll be silent. And you will feel the need to fill the silence, so you'll keep talking. And then eventually you will say something stupid because you will keep talking. That is exactly what Xi Jinping did to Donald Trump. Silent, so Trump kept talking.
To fill the silence.
Fill the silence, because he can't stand there. Like a smart person would not say, he'd answer
just
the
shut
question,
your mouth
shut your
and
mouth.
stand there.
Shut your mouth. But he can't help himself. And I think that's something that's really, really critical for people to understand. Like psychologically, he's so easy to play. And he's so obsessed with these dictators, whether it's Xi or it's Putin or it's Erdogan or it's Orban or it's Kim Jong-un, which was like truly the worst human being on earth, potentially.
Yeah, he said yesterday, we'll actually have a relationship.
And, the whole thing is just crazy. It's not right. And he disdains Canada. He wanted to put higher tariffs in Canada.
Yeah.
He certainly disdains Macron in France. Now, granted, he's not popular either. He disdains the Germans. The only reason he even tolerates the Brits is because of the British royal family. Which is stupid. Who are there for tourism in real life and not for much else.
Right.
And sorry to all our British friends, but that they're basically.
I think everybody kind of knows.
They're ornamental.
Yeah.
But to him, they're like real status symbols. And so, we don't need to belabor this other than to say that was an embarrassing display. And again, I don't know where the Democrats are and why CNN, for that matter, is just going taking this all seriously. Like, so Xi said this and Trump said that, and this person said this. Where's the overarching analysis of this week debacle that we just witnessed in Asia?
Oh, right. I'd be doing 2 ads if I were somebody who had money to do that and put them up on the airwaves. One, making fun of him, taking all the worst moments of the Asia trip and making him look like the clown that he is. That would be number 1, humiliate him. And then number 2 would be the serious stuff, like the actual, danger that it puts the United States in, both economically and in terms of foreign policy. I mean, there's so many layers here, and that's what I would be doing, because those are the 2 things that would hurt him the most.
Well, and then the DNC wonders why nobody's giving them money. Where are you guys?
Yeah, this isn't hard.
Where is your 10-second spot?
Yeah, this isn't hard.
In front of this guy.
Hard. Hire me, I'll come do it. Yeah. Anyways, but that's that, and God bless America. So we're gonna move on. We'll be right back.
Oh, is this me?
Yes.
Another day, another purge inside Trump's Justice Department. This time aimed squarely at the prosecutors who dared to seek accountability for January 6th. This is actually very serious. 2 federal prosecutors in Washington, Carlos Valdivia and Samuel White, were placed on leave Wednesday, just 24 hours after they requested a stiff sentence for Taylor Taranto, a man granted clemency by Trump for his role in the Capitol riot, who later showed up near Barack Obama's home armed with guns and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. Now, their memo described Taranto as part of the, quote, mob of rioters and warned that his behavior reflected the growing threat of political violence. Hours later, the Justice Department abruptly withdrew their filing, scrubbed it from the court record, and assigned the case to new prosecutors, one of them, of course, a Trump appointee. Now, this isn't an isolated act. Since returning to office, Trump's DOJ has fired or demoted more than a dozen prosecutors involved in January 6 cases, from junior attorneys to senior supervisors, and what insiders call a loyalty purge. The message is clear: prosecute political violence and you'll be punished. Michelle, for a president who once called January 6 rioters patriots, it's not hard to see the pattern, and the rule of law now seems to depend on who the defendant voted for.
Laws for thee, but not for me. I mean, he sees anybody who's willing to break the law to either hurt his political opponents and help him, either or, and he sees them as his own personal little army. And that's one less thing that he has to do, or he has to order, a federal agent or a member of the military to do if some crazy person's going to do it for him. I think that that's just how he looks at the world. I think that's how he looked at. I mean, you look at all of the information that we found through the January 6th committee, right? I mean, this is how he was looking at the whole day. This is what he was talking about. That he didn't want the mags there. Remember, to go on
Yeah.
in front of the Capitol. He's like, they're not going to hurt me. Don't put them there.
Yeah.
This is how he. And we should actually have Denver on at some point. Denver Riggleman, because he worked on the January 6th committee in sifting through all this data. And I'm sure would have a lot to talk about with that. But like, that's how he views these people. It's his army.
It's a message. I think it's a message
Mhm.
that you will be, whatever crimes you decide to do, you will be okay. If you do them on my behalf,
Mhm.
you will do them on my behalf.
Yep.
And, unfortunately, we have a system now where he has put in all of his loyalists, whether it's Jeanine Pirro and
Mhm.
the Washington, the two most powerful U.S. attorney's offices are the Southern District of New York.
Yep.
It's all the financial crimes and a lot of the terrorism, counterintelligence crimes,
Mhm.
and Washington, D.C., where Jeanine
Mhm.
Pirro now sits.
Yep.
And he has put loyalists in the Eastern District of Virginia, which is who indicted Comey,
Yeah.
indicted Tish James.
Like the insurance lawyer.
Yeah.
Judy
Some
Padman girl.
former
Yeah.
Miss Colorado or something. And look, what we're dealing with here is a really scary situation where you now are told that if you commit crimes on behalf of Donald Trump, you'll be okay. But if you go after Donald Trump and hold him accountable, you will be indicted.
Yes.
And what will soon be show trials, because again, he's got 4 years to stack the federal bench with his people.
Yep. Yep. And it's not going to be hard. He's done it before. He'll do it again. And we were talking about Mike Davis the other day, right? On our Daily Dispatch. I mean, like the Mike Davises of the world have set Trump up. They've set all of us up to make this very, very easy to do. And they've been helping him stack the court since his first term. And then, what Mitch McConnell was able to do during his reign as well. And so, Stephen Miller, and like, obviously this is not civilians necessarily, but he went on TV the other day because, California is threatening federal agents, saying like, if you don't abide by the laws of California, in your duties, we're going to arrest you. And so we're having this kind of state and federal standoff. I think it's going to happen. I hope it doesn't get violent. But Stephen Miller went on TV and said, you are to do your job. You have absolute immunity working for the federal government in your capacity as an agent or whatever it is. And he basically said, do whatever you need to do. You will not go to jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is just another version of that. And they're signaling it to everyone.
To everyone. And it's not retrospective. It is prospective.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I am truly worried. I know this is a lot for an early morning, but excuse me. I am truly worried about what happens.
Yeah.
2028. I'm actually truly worried about what happens in 2027, because I believe that if Democrats get control of the House, they won't be sworn in.
Oh, I mean, look what's happening with
Yeah.
They'll do this just on a much bigger scale. I mean, this is another listen, I know I sound crazy, but they're never going to reopen the government because of this. Why would they?
Why would they?
Why would they? And I mean, I don't think that we all need to use our imagination here, because a lack of imagination here is dangerous. Imagine what they would be able to accomplish with a shutdown government for not months, but years. And then on top of that, look at things like the White House. Donald Trump just fired the entire commission whose job it is to oversee any construction that the executive branch is doing. Do not think for any moment that he's not just going to bulldoze the rest of the White House. I think he's going for the West Wing next. That's just my opinion.
I mean,
why wouldn't he?
This reminds me of that scene in Game of Thrones, which you did not watch, but
I did not.
but people here might know, where Cersei Lannister blew up the castle, the palace where all the people were sitting, just out of revenge.
Yep.
And it was a very shocking scene in the show, a very shocking scene. But that was a show about dragons. This is real life. And if he takes, I mean, again, the reason I don't think you're wrong, and it just hurts my heart to even
I
think.
know. I don't mean to, like, I know it's I
But the
put
reason
that out in the world, but I just think
they
I'm
do
right.
things incrementally, right?
Yeah.
They did the East Wing. There wasn't a revolution.
Started with the garden.
Which then the East Wing. They're going to keep going.
Mhm.
And I think you're absolutely right, Michelle. A failure of imagination here is very, very hard. But before we move on, I think it's something people need to consider, because it's just, I don't even know what to say. It's just abysmal.
We are in the alternate 1985, where the Gray's almanac that got in, and this is the hellscape that we're all going to live in now.
Yep,
it's fun times.
Let's move on to some interesting news after this.
Yes. Be right back. Well, look who decided to put on his big boy pants and take on the president of the United States. I want you to watch this clip by a podcaster and former community theater wannabe, Ben Shapiro.
There's been a lot of dyspepsia over President Trump's plan to try and cut a settlement with the DOJ for some hundreds of millions of dollars in compensation for the DOJ targeting President Trump. Now, as I've said before, I think that the DOJ under Joe Biden did in fact target President Trump. The problem is that going after the taxpayers who would have to foot the bill to somehow compensate President Trump for this, that is a bad precedent, beyond which the involvement of people who work for President Trump cutting a check to President Trump is rife with conflicts of interest. It is opening up a door the president does not need to open up. I understand the motivation. I get why he'd want to. I get the temptation. Also, it is borderline impeachable at best. And if any Democrat did this, if Joe Biden went to his DOJ and he said, listen, I need you guys to cut me a $230 million check, we'd all be going out of our minds, regardless of how justifiable the outrage was. Well, there's a point being made by a number of Senate Republicans. Senator Josh Hawley, who's clearly an ally of the president, he says, instead of doing this, why don't we set up a special prosecutor to go after the people who unfairly targeted President Trump?
So
the steps, yes, somebody's been reading their SAT vocab flashcards.
I know.
Shapiro.
So the minute that Ben Shapiro is this is gonna happen. So he's criticizing Trump asking DOJ to give him $230 million for his, accountability in the last 4 years of having to go to court and be charged with all the crimes that he did. So Ben Shapiro is saying that's a really terrible precedent. We shouldn't be doing that. If Joe Biden did this, we'd all be up in arms. Correct. And I think that we would be too. We'd be like, dude, well, that's crazy. But he's going to get a call from Trump, and he's going to get it probably soon in the next couple of weeks, telling him to shut up. Because that is exactly what was happening with the Epstein files. Ben Shapiro was going on and on and on about the Epstein files. We need to release them. We need to be transparent. And then what happened? Trump or somebody close to Trump called him and said, be ashamed if, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden he changed his tune. And he said, actually, that what he said when he changed his tune, he said, quote, I'd suggest that before slandering the entire Trump administration, many of his most ardent supporters examined that the second possibility that the Epstein allegations were oversold, and that good people have looked at the evidence and come to a conclusion based on that evidence. If not, they ought to have the courage of their convictions and say what they believe, that all of the members of the Trump administration are guilty of covering up a pedophilic sex trafficking ring. Julie, we'll say it. All of the members of the Trump administration are guilty of covering up a pedophilic sex trafficking ring. Like, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck, guys.
Could you imagine if all of a sudden Joe Biden's DOJ, if Merrick Garland was like, hey, I looked at so-and-so and it wasn't a a big deal, so we're gonna just forget all about it. Whatever the big scandal was. You think
Mhm.
Ben Shapiro would be like, we'll just take their word for it. We'll just
Yeah.
take their word for it.
Yeah. I'm sure they're telling the truth. I
I'm
mean,
sure they're
like,
telling
why
the
would they
truth.
lie?
Otherwise, the entire Biden administration would be responsible for covering up whatever scandal they think is. The whole thing is so stupid.
It is stupid.
Because they're so hypocritical. They're so full of it.
These people like Ben Shapiro and Benny Johnson and what's the other guy? The other one who's got the thing of hair and he's always on Piers Morgan. I forget.
Dave
Rubin.
Dave Rubin, that guy? I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
That's his name. I don't know. He's like annoying and he again used to try to be an actor and like all these people. These people are showbiz. They're all showbiz. They go on these things and and then if they get a call, they're like, okay, well, here's the new script. And they just change scripts. That's it. Ben Shapiro grew up, just so people know, Ben Shapiro grew up in Los Angeles. His dad was a composer. His mom was a TV executive. He was this like little violin prodigy as a child. I think like his cousin is like, I forget, his cousin played Matilda in the movie. So he comes from a show business family.
Yeah.
Okay. And just so people know, because I do keep this video on my phone and I make this joke often that people didn't get cast in the community theater production of Man of La Mancha and they're still mad about it. Google this stuff about Ben Shapiro. I'm showing this because I just want to, he's unserious. Like watch this really quick. Yeah.
There, out in the darkness, a fugitive running, fallen from God. Fallen from grace. God be my witness. I never shall yield till we meet face to face.
So speaking of the French Revolution, he's just here singing from Les Mis in his what looks like hotel room to karaoke tracks.
Oh my God, I've never seen that before.
Oh, girl, I remember I said it was like Charlie Kirk. I have folders. I have folders of Ben Shapiro stuff too. These people are ridiculous. Now listen, I was a theater person too. You'll find stuff probably of me that's embarrassing, but I'm also not out here trying to like, do this. And so that's the difference. He's like, these people are acting, they're pretending, this is all happening on TV. It's all happening on their shows. They're all happening, but behind this Barbara Streisand's like Vaseline filters, on their podcast. Like that's these people, you cannot take them seriously.
If there was money to be made on the Democratic side and gullible people on this side, they would be here. I mean, just to be clear, like they would be here. They have no conviction. I have known Ben Shapiro a long time. So he used to come on Fox and I used to wonder why I was having to debate like some 12-year-old. But because with zero life experience.
In the darkness.
Sorry. Yeah. Like if I'd known that, if I'd known it was actually a theater kid, I'd be even more.
Yes. Everybody is.
But like he's basically that kid who had no friends in school, who uses word like dyspeptic in conversation. I mean, like somebody knows the big word, let's show it up.
He's got the word of the day calendar.
Word of the day calendar, and I guess that dyspepsia was the word of the day today. Whenever he recorded that. But, he's reading from a prompter very clearly.
Oh, yeah.
And that's okay. You can read from a prompter.
Whatever,
But there's nothing organic about this, right? Like, Michelle, you and I are having a conversation. We're not reading from a prompter here. We're actually having a conversation. I'm sure we're going to say something at some point that's stupid and embarrassing. And I really don't care because that's real life.
No, I mean, like, that's just the world we live in now.
Yeah.
You say dumb stuff and it's whatever.
But Ben Shapiro is so regimented and so scripted. And just so you know how Ben Shapiro got the Daily Wire off the ground, Ben Shapiro got two coal magnates, these twin brothers, who are billionaire coal magnates who really hated global warming. And they liked the cut of Ben Shapiro's jib. In other words, Ben Shapiro was some syndicated columnist for some LA paper. And all of a sudden, they were like, hey, we'll take a chance on this guy And they gave $5.6 million to start the Daily Wire. And if it were not for that, Ben Shapiro would still be hanging out, trying to get on Fox News to debate people. So, these guys are smart. It's the same as Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk,
not dumb. That's not
Charlie
dumb
Kirk
by any means.
got some small amount of money, $10,000, I think, from Foster Friess, who's another billionaire, to start his thing. And this guy took a chance on Charlie Kirk, and it paid off in large magnitudes.
Yeah.
So that's the question, right? Like, what is there to say other than completely and utterly just,
I know.
Like shilling. And they're doing it for the cash, and they're doing it for the clout.
Yep.
And I don't think that Ben Shapiro believes a goddamn thing that he says, because if he really was that interested in the Epstein files, all of a sudden he's not going to be like, oh, I think I'll just take Pam Bondi's word.
No, listen, these people are horrified by all of it, because this is exactly, it's like Dan Bing Bong, right? Dan Bing Bong had his podcast, and the whole thing was about the cabal of pedophiles on the left and the Epstein files and this, that, and the other. And then the second that he takes a look at the actual Epstein files, he's horrified by it. And he's like, how am I going to spin this? How am I going to spin this? And this is just, it's how do we gaslight the base into thinking that this was all just, this was nothing. It was a nothing burger, which is not true. It's not true. And the Trump administration is showing us that it's not true by the way that they're reacting, the way that the government is still shut down, because there's several reasons that that's still happening. Why they won't swear in Congresswoman-elect Grijalva, because she'd be the 218th vote. Like, it's just, these people, it's like, it's like they're writing it in the sky, like surrender Dorothy. Like, this is not a mystery.
Yeah. Listen. Bottom line, the whole right-wing sphere is such nonsense, right? Starting with Candace Owens.
Okay.
And,
she's another one.
Some people I used to work with at Fox who remain nameless. And all of these people, they don't believe it. I mean, I think they're fundamentally damaged people.
Yeah.
And every single one of them doesn't care about anything other than their own self-importance. And Ben Shapiro
wanted to be stars.
They want to be stars. They want to be somebody. I don't know if something happened to them in high school where nobody wanted to be friends with them, or as you said, they didn't get cast in Man of La Mancha.
They didn't, and they're mad. They're
mad about it. And they're mad about it. And
start a podcast.
I'm sorry that you didn't turn out to be a Broadway star, but there's no reason to ruin the country and our democracy for it.
Right.
Take your revenge out on us. And Benny Johnson tried to be a real journalist. He got busted plagiarizing. So all of a sudden he's like, screw this. I'm going to take it out of mainstream media. I'm going to create my own thing, and I'm going to be bigger than all of you. Okay. All right. But you have these people who are just going so incredibly overboard on their nonsense and their performative shit, like Candace Owens talking about Macron's wife.
Oh, it's crazy.
Like for what? The clicks? Like, you don't really believe this Candace Owens. Like, you're not insane.
I mean, she's tripling down on that stuff too.
Tripling down on it because you're suing her, so she has no choice but to triple down. But like, she's not crazy. You don't build what she has by being crazy.
Right.
She's calculating.
Yeah.
The only one who I truly think believes what he says to some extent is Tucker Carlson, because I do know him.
Right. Who, by the way, has been going on camera, I think just in the last couple of days, being like, guys, prepare for a war. We're about to enter a regime change war probably in the next week or two. And, Tucker Carlson doesn't want that to happen. And he's pretty transparent about that. He's like, America first, isolationist stuff.
I don't know. Tucker's been an isolationist his whole life.
Right. I mean, Tucker's been telling us who he is for a long, long time, but he's another one with a chip on his shoulder because he didn't get accepted into the CIA and he didn't get what he wanted. And then his mom went off and became an artist in Europe. And, there's like, he's got, but that's the thing. It's like, everyone deal with this. And I'm not making up the stuff about the theater. James O'Keefe, who runs Project Veritas, like, he's another one. He got his fame from Project Veritas. And then what did he do? He found benefactors to fund weird MAGA musical theater stuff where that's directed by Brian Cloudis. Yes, girl. And like they do these like immersive productions of like Oklahoma like out in the field.
What?
Stick with me, girl. Stick with me because I will tell you all about the Brian Cloudis production.
You are blowing my mind. What are you talking about?
Yes.
Is it just like Oklahoma? Is it like
They
patriotic
did
American?
Oklahoma, and then he like rode in like on a horse. I'm not kidding.
But is it like patriotic American musicals? Like it's got to be like Oklahoma?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know that. So James O'Keefe was not in the production of Miss Saigon, where they had a helicopter land in a field. I kid you not. And then there was the Titanic, where the stage went down into the water in some like swamp in Georgia, and like people got like MRSA or something. But it's all kinds of OSHA issues. But like now James O'Keefe is all up in it, and they've done several shows. I will send you videos. It will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. I'm telling you, all of these political people who seem like losers are just theater kids who aren't getting to do their musicals. And so they're destroying democracy instead.
I mean, if there's
like Donald Trump being like the 80s.
If there's anybody
here
who happens to be a high school drama teacher who's listening to us, for the sake of our democracy and our lives, I beg of you, find some place for every kid in the chorus or is boy number 87 in the production.
Yep, tree number 3 in the back. I get it.
I don't care. Make them be a tree.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. Like there are a lot of people in Les Mis. Put them all in there. Like, please, there are a lot of cats out there. Like,
I'm telling you, go look up Brian Cloudis. He runs the MAGA musical theater thing. They have funding. They have all kinds of funding. And Brian Cloudis.
Don't even talk about it because we got to go. But
no, I know. But Roger Stone is in on this too. Sorry, keep going.
We got to do a whole daily dispatch on this because this is blowing my mind.
I will bring
chat know about this. Like, I actually want to know. Do people in the chat know this?
Julie, I know people who have been in Brian Cloudis production.
No, I believe you. I'm just saying.
No, I know. I will bring them on. I know a couple of them.
Why were they in his productions?
This was like kind of pre-MAGA. So it was like, oh, there's an opportunity to do this weird show, this immersive thing, which ended up, again, OSHA, like people almost died. But, that's that. And I know that we have to go, but can I just say one more thing before we go? Because I just want everyone, if you're watching the series, this guy, Trey Savage, last night, pitched for the World Series for the Blue Jays. It was incredible. He broke a 76-year record for rookie strikeouts during the World Series. This guy has played 4 levels of minor league baseball this year. Minor leagues. He began the year Class A Florida State League. I'm just saying, this is why we love baseball, because this stuff happens. This guy started from the very bottom on the team that went from worst to first, and they just kicked their asses of the Los Angeles Dodgers the last 2 nights. And, keep your eye out for this guy because it's all very, very exciting.
Amazing. And even if this guy does nothing else in his life, he just
incredible. History books.
Shohei Ohtani.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, he struck out the greatest player in the world.
Yeah.
It's magnificent stuff. So anyways, go baseball. We love baseball.
Okay. We will see everybody here tomorrow. You guys, so for those of you who follow me, at least me on Substack, you might know that I do a show called Pax Americana every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern with Loutman there. We are bringing that show this week, finally, Mayday. So now you could tune in on Mayday and watch Pax Americana at 11 a.m. Eastern today. It is a foreign policy show. I love doing the show because
it's so good, guys. It's so good.
Yeah, we go around the world and talk about what's going on with respect to foreign policy. So we'll expand a little bit on that Asia trip, but also all the stuff going on in Russia and Ukraine. So please tune in at 11 a.m. Eastern today. Michelle and I will see you back here tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern. Is tomorrow Friday? Happy Halloween.
TGIF. Yeah.
Yes. So that will be happening next week. next week. I'm so tired, Michelle. It's gonna be happening
Girl,
tomorrow.
I slept for like 4 hours last night.
I know it's gonna be happening tomorrow.
It is. And also we just want to float this, that we're talking about putting together a video podcast with us and some others perhaps. And we're going to rewatch The Americans.
Oh, yes.
And we're going to talk through it from a perspective of culture, right? And entertainment, but also through the lens of Julie came to the United States as a refugee from the Soviet Union just a few months before The Americans started, like that story started on the show. Yeah. And so we can talk about what was going on in the Soviet Union, what was happening in the United States, and how this affects us, and how it pertains to what's going on now. So, and also The Americans is just a great show. So let us know what you think about that, because we were just talking about it yesterday. We think it would be a lot of fun for us all to do this together, and you guys could watch with us.
Yeah.
And we'd just love to know what you think.
Let us know. But you guys, seriously, watch. If we do this, we would love for people to just start watching. I don't know, is it on Amazon or Netflix? It's got to be somewhere.
I'll find out. Yeah.
Yeah. Start watching The Americans with us. I have to tell you, no spoilers. I never finished watching that show.
Yeah.
Everything but the last season. So no spoilers. It will be like watching it for the first time for me towards the end.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll mix. It's not going to be just about the show. It's going to be mixing in what was going on.
And we'll have experts come on that know about.
Yeah.
I love to get John, what's his face? The guy who was worked for the CIA. I forget his name.
Yeah, we'll get some CIA folks. We'll get people who did counterintelligence.
Yep.
Maybe we'll get some Russians who know about the stuff. I'm not one of them.
Affected, maybe Baryshnikov. No, I'm just kidding.
But
I want to talk about The Americans, but
yeah.
But no, for real. Let us know what you think. And also, I just want to say, somebody just said the Substack app sucks. I'm not a Substack person. I happen to agree, but you can watch Pax Americana and all of that
here that's what I'm
on
saying.
YouTube. Yeah, come here on YouTube at the Mayday Network to watch Olga and Julie at 11 o'clock today.
Yeah. You could watch if you're watching on Substack. That's great, but you don't have to. Actually, we prefer that you watch it on Mayday. So Mayday, watch it on Mayday, and we'll have a great show. All right, everybody. I'll see you at 11. Michelle and I will be back here at 8 a.m. tomorrow. We'll see you on Saturday for Over It. We got a bunch of good stuff planned for Mayday. So let us know about The Americans and what you think about that.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.